Happy Wednesday and a warm welcome to tonight's broadcast with me, Gloria Mutesi. We start off tonight by telling you that this afternoon, President Paul Kagame chaired an extraordinary cabinet meeting ahead of recess to discuss progress on the COVID-19 vaccinations as well as various topics, including troops currently deployed in the region, and these are the resolutions. The cabinet was briefed on the ongoing COVID-19 testing and vaccination ongoing across Rwanda. It was noted that Rwanda was nearing 1 million vaccinations, including frontline workers and the most vulnerable. Appreciation was extended to partner states and organizations that have provided the much-needed additional vaccines. The cabinet thanked Rwandans for their valuable contribution to the management of the pandemic and urged all those eligible to get the vaccine as vaccines become more available, and also test more frequently in order to minimize the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Citizens are reminded of the critical importance of complying with the health measures, including physical distancing, wearing face masks properly, and hand hygiene. The cabinet was updated on the recent 10-year Eurobond, where the government raised $620 million at a 5.5 interest rate. The bond was oversubscribed at $1.6 billion, demonstrating investor confidence in Rwanda's economy and governance. The amount raised will continue to spur the economic recovery and sustainable development. The cabinet was also briefed on current regional dynamics, including the deployment of Rwandan troops to Central African Republic and notably in Mozambique. It was noted that the Rwandan forces alongside Mozambican forces had made good progress recently in dislodging insurgent forces in the key areas of Cabo Delgado province, which has led to the increased security in the region. Also noted was that in the spirit of the African solidarity and South cooperation, the government of Rwanda would continue to collaborate with the government of Mozambique as well as other partners in the next phases of stabilization and development. The cabinet is on recess until August 31st, 2021, done at Kigali, the 18th of August, 2021, and signed by Dr. Edouard Ngirente, the Prime Minister. Now, Rwanda has received over 488,000 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines from the U.S. government. The donated vaccines include the first 100,000 doses from President Joe Biden's 500 million doses pledged to the COVAX facility. The vaccines arrived at Kigali International Airport this Wednesday evening and were received by Peter H. Vrooman, the U.S. ambassador to Rwanda, and handed over to Rwanda's Minister of Health, Dr. Daniel Ngamije. Rwanda is the first country to receive vaccines from the U.S. government, which coordinated closely with COVAX and the African Union on country allocations.
For this donation of vaccine, today we are receiving 188,000 vaccine, and Friday we're expecting to receive 300,000 vaccines. Almost, as the ambassador said, almost 500,000 of vaccine that we're expecting to receive from U.S. government. So we commend partnership between our government with the U.S. government, but also with other partners who are part of COVAX, like UNICEF, WHO, and other partners, because this mechanism works, and this will allow us to vaccinate and increase the coverage of people who should be vaccinated with different vaccines that are now available. So we are very happy that while receiving these vaccines, our intention is to reach at least 30% of our population which should be vaccinated by the end of this year, and next year 60% of our population we expect to get them vaccinated. So this is our target, and we thank all partners who are coming to join us to get vaccines available for us.
The U.S. Ambassador Peter Vrooman pledges continued cooperation between the U.S. and Rwanda in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're very happy that finally we have doses of vaccine that are from among the doses that President Biden committed to at the G7, 500 million doses, the most vaccine, and today we are receiving the first of those doses here in Rwanda. So we're very happy about that, and we're happy that Rwanda stores those vaccines in people's arms. and so more people can save. So, you know, I like to say, ubuzima bwanyu ni ubuzima bwacu, kandi ubuzima bwacu ni ubuzima bwanyu.
UNICEF country representative to Rwanda, Miss Juliana Lindsay, also extends her appreciation for this cooperation.
It's a very exciting day. We're very grateful that the U.S. government has chosen to donate through COVAX. We've seen the incredible work that the Ministry of Health and RBC have done to get the vaccines into people's arms, and I have full confidence that that will continue.
In addition to the frontline personnel, including community health workers, Rwanda has started vaccinating Rwandans and residents aged 40 and above, as well as priority risk groups, including pregnant women, those with underlying health conditions, and the elderly to whom vaccines are administered in their homes by mobile teams. So far, more than 950,000 people have been vaccinated. To other matters now, people seeking services from restaurants and hotels will be required to fast test for COVID-19 before accessing these places. And on the onset, this new directive shall first be done at the 5- and 4-star hotels and some other 50 restaurants. Sam Kalisa.
This initiative of having people tested before accessing hotels and restaurants is one that has been warmly welcomed, according to some of the hotel employees across Kigali.
Sometimes it was a bit of a deterrent when somebody comes, they want to check in, and you're telling them they have to go to a clinic to go get a test, and then they come back. When they go, they might not come back. They might change their mind along the way. Now when they're here, we have an advantage that they'll get tested. They're assured that they'll come, they'll get tested, then they can enjoy the facilities. But it's on a voluntary basis, and I think we all have a role to play in the fight against this pandemic. So, you know, you have to test so that you can not only ensure your safety, but also other people's safety.
Preparations are now underway and trainings are now being conducted, as explained by Dr. Edison Rwagasore, Division Manager of Public Health Surveillance and Emergency Preparedness and Response at the Rwanda Biomedical Center, RBC.
Amahugurwa yatangiye kugeza ubu ngubu tumaze guhugura amahoteli ageze kuri 13.
We have trained up to 13 hotels so far, and we are training restaurants as well. By end of this week, these hotels and restaurants will already be working. This is going to help us in terms of testing many people, as well as to reduce the workforce because of the trainings we are giving. But most of all, we're making the testing services more affordable to people who want to test for the virus. A cross-section of people that seek hospitality services say this is going to help save a lot of time and make their life more convenient. Among the resolutions made by the recent cabinet meeting included increasing access to COVID-19 testing facilities.
The East African Community Secretary General, Dr. Peter Mathuki, is urging the private sector to take advantage of the ongoing bilateral engagements between partner states to promptly resolve trade disputes so as to increase trade among the EAC partner states. Speaking during a CEO's engagement roundtable with business leaders in Arusha, which was convened by the East African Business Council, Dr. Mathuki called upon the business community to push for public-private partnerships and urged the private sector to drive the trade and investment agenda by establishing partnerships with their governments to fast-track infrastructure development. Dr. Mathuki's comments were echoed by John Bosco Kalisa, the CEO of the East African Business Council. Take a listen.
The fact how to increase intra-EAC trade, how to engage private sector. Private sector development remains a key priority. And therefore, that being a key priority, I think it's important to take advantage of this and see how we could increase the intra-EAC trade. Actually, I want to challenge the Business Council. We cannot be talking above only 30%. We should be talking about 50%. When you're looking at the intra-EU, they are talking above 70%, around 70%. The Haitians, they are talking above 60%. Yeah? In East Africa, we are talking about below 15%. I think we are late. We need to move with speed, take advantage of the opportunities that are there, and see whether we can triple intra-EAC trade to above 50%, not 30%. Indeed, as you have said, RC and Bosco has also said, because of Mausiano, engagements and relationships. You've seen the heads of states emphasize on bilaterals, and you've seen this happen in the United Republic of Tanzania and Kenya. You've seen Her Excellency actually move to all the partner states of the EAC. And that effort of promoting relationships and engagements has benefited the United Republic of Tanzania, and that is why you see Tanzania's intra-trade and trade volumes have increased. I was being called from Namanga. I'm told the trade volumes have gone 6 times from where it was last year. Within a year, 6 times. Why? It's because of the efforts of Her Excellency the President, Samia Suluhu Hassan, engaging with the other heads of states for the benefit of the people of Tanzania and for the government of Tanzania. And I think this is something we need to appreciate and give her a big applause for that kind of effort. That tells you that relationships and engagements and dialogue, how it can bring results. And I think that seems to be the way. Going forward, I think we need a stronger engagement, private sector to private sector. Private sector in Tanzania, engage private sector in Rwanda, engage private sector in Rwanda, in Burundi, in Kenya, in South Sudan. So private sector to private sector is important. As we talk of private sector and government dialogue initiatives, it's important that private sector yourselves will take advantage. Indeed, I want to echo what the RC has said. Congratulate you, like business people, for resilience, particularly during this time of COVID. And you know, it's been a difficult year, 2020 and also 2021. But you have contained, you've maintained that resilience. I think that should be the spirit. What you need to do now, I think it's important, you support government initiatives, especially on vaccination. Because vaccination is the only solution to recovery. If we don't respond collectively and in a coordinated manner as a region, then we shall be left behind. In Europe, they are talking of 70% vaccination rate. In Asia, they are talking of about 60% vaccination rate. And as you see, Japan is able to host Olympics. In America, they are above 60%. In East Africa, we are below 2%. Below 2% vaccination rate. What that means is tourists will not be able to come to East Africa because they fear the pandemic, because people are not vaccinated. People will not be able to do business with Africa and East Africa because they see we are not vaccinated. I think it's important now, yourselves as the private sector, you take it upon yourself now, engage and support government to roll out the vaccination program, and very fast, because that's the only way we are going to get out of this crisis. So as one of the strategies of economic recovery is vaccination. I've seen some partner states in the region where private sector has even gone ahead to work with government and support vaccines of 1 million people now vaccination. That is to say, private sector now you are demanding your space on the table. I think we need to move above advocacy. Keep on advocating. What are you advocating for? You need to be sitting on the table and offer solutions, work with government and provide for solutions.
An active role in the EAC integration agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are aware, EABC advocacy initiatives are aiming at sustaining business operations, jobs, and economic resilience. With the continued support from EABC members and partners through our advocacy agenda and mitigation, our advocacy agenda in the view of mitigating the impact of COVID on business, we successfully eliminated most of the COVID-related NTBs at the EAC border post through regular spot checks. I want to thank you, Honorable, that you've created a trade hotline where if there is an NTB, they can call direct to your office. So, and I think now NTBs with your current drive and leadership, NTBs are going to be a history in our region. We've conducted a survey, EABC, of course, from the support from Trademark, our key partner, and GIZ in terms of analyzing sectoral sectoral impact of COVID on business sectors such as tourism, manufacturing, agriculture, transport, logistics, tourism, and open sky in EAC.
Kigali City has launched a program called Igitondo Chisuku, an early morning sanitation initiative aimed at unblocking water drainage systems in neighborhoods across the city of Kigali. The Kigali City authorities say that this is being done to avoid massive damage to property during the rainy season. Let's now hear from Jane Mutoni.
The COVID-19 pandemic has halted many communal activities, including the monthly sanitation program known as Umuganda. In an effort to find a solution, the city of Kigali has launched a program called Igitondo Chisuku, which literally means sanitation done in the morning hours, where residents work with authorities to unclog drainage system to prevent massive damage when it rains. Some residents say that due to the effects of the floods, they have decided to do something about it. Floods have affected us so much, like here in the wetlands, where we were growing vegetables, and also roads were damaged, along with people's houses. So we decided to do something about it ourselves. This early morning sanitation initiative is aimed to unblock water drainage system. The mayor of Kigali City, Prudence Rubingisa, urges every citizen to be protective when it comes to the water drainage, as some people often dump in garbage, hence causing problems during the rainy season. In this district, the climate is constantly changing, which is why we train the residents to always be prepared in case of floods by working on the sanitation of the area themselves. As this is one way to finding solutions, we no longer do communal work due to the COVID-19 restrictions of mitigating the spread of the virus, so residents try to do what they can, which is why the issue of some people dumping garbage in water will be stopped once everyone becomes a washdog. The mayor of Kigali City also reminded people to assess their houses, hence to ensure their safety during the rainy season. Some houses are weak and can be easily swept away in case of a flood, which is why people need to assess their houses to make sure that they are strong enough. Last year's heavy rains destroyed 24 houses in Kigali, hence the early plans to unblock waterways ahead of the anticipated rainy season. Jane Mutoni, RTV News.
Many thanks, Jane Mutoni. Now 2,500 Rwandan youth, both local residents and Rwandan diaspora, have completed an online national civic training, also known as Itorero, for the Rwandan youth living abroad and the ones in Rwanda called Indahangarwa. This session of Itorero, which was held virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic, aims to equip Rwandan youth with Rwandan cultural values. Itorero Indahangarwa is a platform for protecting Obutore values to Rwandan youth living abroad and the ones in Rwanda. Earlier today, I spoke to the Vice Chairperson of the National Itorero Commission, Lieutenant Colonel Desire Migambi Mungamba, about the significance of this civic training.
Key messages are that the youth in Itorero, first of all, they have to understand that Rwandan values are to be on the front page of their life. They have to really to behave according to Rwandan cultural values. So we instill in them Rwandan values, cultural values, being Rwandan spirit, being patriotism, selflessness, hard work and excellency. These values, these are very important values for Rwandans, of course, without omitting the value of unity.
In terms of that, of instilling the discipline into young people for being custodians of the Rwandan culture, how effective has such civic education been over the years?
You know, over the years, we've trained various categories of the youth. We've trained Inhomeza Bigwi. Inhomeza Bigwi, it's a category of senior six leavers As soon as they leave senior 6, they go to training, tutorial training, which takes 6 months period. And the best performers from these senior 6 leavers are transferred to national service. And national service, it's an area, it's a program from which they are together in an area like a district, and they conduct some of national service program like handling human security issues, constructing house for vulnerable, constructing roads, things like that. All human security issues we found at family, Isibo, Mudugudu, or district levels. So they go and they handle such problems. However, in general, because they are taught Rwandan values, and again at the other side, they are taught to go and to do national service. And that culture of doing national service and culture values, the combination of the two make them to have that Ubutore spirit. That over the past years, we have been training them. I can say now, from the assessment we've made, is that in all segments, Rwandan segment, we can say that Itorero has made a great achievement